While Senator Bernie Sanders and former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg maintain a tight lead in New Hampshire, there's another candidate who appears to be gaining momentum. Over the weekend, 2 local polls showed Senator Amy Klobuchar surging to third place following the state's Democratic presidential debate on Friday.
A poll from WBZ, Boston Globe, and Suffolk University shows the Minnesota senator polling at over 13% in the Granite State. A 7 News Emerson College poll shows similar results. Our Ed O'Keefe is standing by in Keene, New Hampshire. He is joined by Senator Amy Klobuchar. Good to see you both, Ed.
Good to see you, Vlad and Anne-Marie. Good morning. Welcome to the campus of Keene State College. And we're here with the woman of the moment, who suddenly now is surging into third place. I've never heard so many cheers for a candidate saying we're number 3, but they were cheering in the other room.
It was a big field, Ed. There were once 25.
That's right. I mean, you are doing right now what Beto O'Rourke and Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Julian Castro and so many others wanted to do, which was to peak the day before the actual votes are really cast. It must be pretty satisfying to be in this position.
Well, we've been at it for a year, so yes. But I think what's happened to me is I didn't have the name ID, the bank account of so many others in this race, and I built this team step by step by step. So to get to that place where the debate really put us over the top, it's a lot of hard work. And I think people in the debate finally got me. They had heard that I'd won in rural and suburban areas. They heard that I got a lot done in the U.S. Senate, more than anyone else there now that's running for president. But I think they saw my heart. They understood when I told that story of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, that when he died, a guy is standing by the train tracks and a reporter says, "Hey, did you know the president?" Because the guy's sobbing, and the guy says, "No, I didn't know the president, but he knew me. He knew me." And that, to me, is empathy. It's being able to put yourself in the shoes of the people of this country. It's a sacred trust between the president and the people that the president represents. That is broken down right now with Donald Trump, and that is what I want to restore.
Some people are calling this Clomentum. We're saying that you are now Klobucharged going into...
Those are lovely names. I don't care, just so they vote for me.
And you raised about $3 million over the weekend.
Yes,
How do
since
you,
the debate.
Where do you start
Regular
spending
people.
that?
Well, we're taking out a few more ads here. There's only a few days to do it. And then, of course, Nevada and South Carolina and beyond, building on that. And I think, again, the debates have been an even playing field for me. People can't buy their way into being able to respond on the debate stage. They can't have the bigger name, and so people are able to look at the candidates and think, wait a minute, who could really stand up to Donald Trump? Who has ideas that are similar to mine? In my case, not blowing up the Affordable Care Act and not kicking 149 million Americans off of their current health insurance in 4 years. Those are things that people over time have been able to see when they've looked at the candidates.
But I've heard from a lot of the other campaigns, you know, great for her, but she doesn't have much of an operation in Nevada.
Well, we actually hired Beto O'Rourke's team a few months ago, and we have an office there. We had an office opening. I was just in Reno. I've been there a number of times. And that state's interesting for me. One, I've worked a lot on immigration reform from the minute I got to the Senate. I'd been hit on my support for immigrants in my first race for Senate in a state that doesn't have as many immigrants as some of the other states that are ahead, but I stood up for immigrants. Secondly, I am head of the tourism bills in the U.S. Senate and have done a lot of work in tourism, which is really important there. And the third is my voting record and my sort of way of interacting with people is very similar to the 2 women that Nevada elected to the U.S. Senate. Catherine Cortez Masto and Jackie Rosen. So Nevada, which is a state that has majority women in the legislature, has this incredible story to tell of how they put more women in office. So those things are pretty good for me in Nevada, and I'm looking forward to going there and so people know who I am.
What do you think it's going to say if you somehow get ahead of Elizabeth Warren or Joe Biden or both tomorrow night?
I think it's going to show the strength of me as a candidate and the strength of what I've said from the beginning. We cannot outdivide the divider in chief. We need a candidate whose focus is on bringing decency back, and then understanding that while this is an economic check on this president, because we don't have shared prosperity, it is also a decency check and a patriotism check. That's how you bring independents and moderate Republicans with you. In New Hampshire, independents can vote in this Democratic primary. And I think, unlike caucuses, it is a test of trying to bring people with you for the kind of coalition that you want to build. That's how I got the endorsement of the Union Leader, which is a pretty Republican paper. That's how I got the endorsement of the New York Times, which is not a Republican paper, as well as the Seacoast newspapers and the Keene Sentinel, where we are right now. And people are going to watch and listen and read those things.
In Friday night's debate, you were the only one to raise your hand when asked if you had concerns about the potential of a self-described democratic socialist atop the Democratic Party in November's elections. Elaborate again on why you're concerned about Bernie Sanders being the nominee. Yeah.
The question should be, why didn't everyone else raise their hand? But they didn't, because people are looking at each other, and it may not be popular, and you're going to anger some people. But I believe in leading and doing what you think is right. And that's why I raised my hand, because I am troubled by having a socialist lead our ticket. I like Bernie. We are friends. He would tell you that as well. We have worked together on prescription drug prices and the like. But I think a candidate like me, who is able to bring in ideas and actually get them done. And as I've said so many times, if people are tired of the extremes in our politics and the noise and the nonsense, that they have a home with me. That, to me, is the ticket of winning big.
Can those freshman members of Congress in Minnesota and Michigan and Pennsylvania and elsewhere get reelected if Bernie Sanders is the nominee?
I think it'll be a lot tougher. I'm not going to be a pundit and make predictions, but when you look at the models of how we won in, say, the governor's race in Kentucky, where Mitch McConnell now has a Democratic governor, if you look at how we flipped the Senate and the House in the state of Virginia, if you look at, as you noted, those House races, including in my own state, in suburban areas, those candidates, they weren't celebrities. They were simply good people who fit their states or fit their districts and pledged to go there to do the work for the people. Gretchen Whitmer, who we all just heard of after the State of the Union. I've been mentioning her for a long time, the governor of Michigan. Laura Kelly, the new Democratic governor of Kansas. Again, not celebrities, fit the states, got in independents, got in moderate Republicans, and built a big coalition.
And Bernie
along
could
with
spoil that if
base.
he's the nominee.
I don't want to spoil that.
Yeah.
I don't want to, in my words, screw this up.
And what about Buttigieg? You saw the Biden attack over the weekend, the
Yeah, they were
38-year-old small-town mayor.
They should go have a push-up contest somewhere. So my answer to that is that I like to tease Mayor Pete, 59, my age, is the new 38. I am still a fresh face, but I bring with it experience. And I think that experience of winning big statewide, like I've done, over and over again, never losing in rural areas, congressional districts, never losing in suburban congressional districts, I think that matters, because the one thing that unites our party and a bunch of other people that want to vote with us is we want to win. So having someone with the receipts who's actually done it, that's what I've got over any of the candidates on that stage.
And real quick, you run into an undecided voter today who's trying to decide between you and all the others. What's the 20-second elevator pitch?
I can win. I will bring decency to the White House. And I am someone that you will never be embarrassed about when you watch TV. I will do my job.
All right. Senator Klobuchar,
Okay.
Thanks for taking the time. She's off to Nashua. We're off down the trail as well. Vlad and Anne-Marie, thanks to Senator Klobuchar and her team. Thanks to our team who put
Thanks
this
for
together.
joining our bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, we'll see you down the road.
Yeah, we love that term, Klobuchar.
Yeah,
that's very
that's
cool.
good.
I think the senator's going to have to put together some campaign slogans around that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Senator.
All righty.